So now we can close it. We can mention column name as well, but I'm not going to do all those things because I will keep the name as column name. So now we need to do the changes in XML, spring.xml. I'll keep these two files in my class path. Okay, and I don't need any folder, any extra folder. I'll keep this test class in default folder. I'll delete this. Okay, so I need to create some bean now. So first bean I will have, that will be data source. Bean name is data source, and the class will be. So why we are going to use data source? Because that will be the bean which will configure the database related information. So I need to go to Spring JDBC, here, data source. Where's data source? Yeah, here it is. So I'm going to use driver manager data source. Where's that? Yeah, copy the qualified name, paste it here, remove dot class, and inside this data source we need to mention some properties. So first property will be driver class name, and the value will be I'm going to use Oracle driver, so I will get the name of Oracle driver. So driver name I have this. I need to paste it here. I have another property called URL. The value for that is URL for localhost is this, for Oracle database. Then we have another property username, and the value is system. Password, and the value is same as username. So data source is complete. Now we need to create the bean for session factory, because in database in Hibernate we use session factory to get the session to interact with the database. So here also we need to create the bean for session factory. So name equals to session factory, and the class, I need to copy the class name from here. I'm going to use local session factory. So okay, so it must be inside Spring ORM. These are Spring ORM is here. I'm going to use Hibernate 3. So I'm going to use this local session factory bean. Copy the qualified name, paste it here, remove dot class, and inside this bean factory I will pass data source as property. So property is data source, and the value is no value, it will be a reference because I'm going to pass the reference of data source bean which I have created here. Copy it, paste it, and that's done. Okay, Now I need to create one more bean. Oh no, I need to set some more properties. So after that I have a property mapping resources. Mapping resources. This property will have value as that mapping resource which I have created, this player.hbm.xml. so I need to mention that here, player.hbm.xml. that's it. Now one more property, that is Hibernate properties. Net properties, and it will have around 2-3 properties. So we will use props tag. Inside this props tag we will have one prop tag. Like here I will have to pass keys and then values. So first dialect is Hibernate dialect. So Hibernate dialect we are going to use because different database have some like different SQL queries, means dialect is different, so that's why we have to mention the dialect as well. So we have to mention Oracle dialect, and then I have another prop that is for Hibernate Hibernate show SQL. This is for showing the queries on console. So show SQL. So I need to mention here true, then it will show the SQL query on the console. Now we will have one more prop, that is for Hibernate.hbm to DDL. So DDL, this is auto. This is like I have not created any table in my database manually, so this property will create the table. So create, or I can use update. So every time I run this program, it will not create the table, it will update the existing table. If it is not exist, then it will create the table. So these property I have set here, HBM to DDL. Then this bean completed. Now I need to create one more bean, that is name of that bean is Hibernate Template. So this is the main bean template, and the class for this is I am going to use this class with that Hibernate Template class. Yep, qualified name, and copy. That's it. So why we are using Hibernate Template? Because we are not like if we are using Hibernate and Spring together, then we have to use Hibernate Template and do the all the operation on database using this Hibernate Template. We don't have to interact with Session Factory or Session directly. We can interact with Hibernate Template, and Hibernate Template will interact with data source and Session Factory and all that. So we need to pass property, that is Session Factory inside this. So reference will be the Session Factory bean I have created, this one. I need to pass it here, and it's done. Okay, so I need to create one more bean for my class, that is player. So bean, and the name of this bean will be player, and the class is also player, and it will have one property. that will be Hibernate template.